Hello and welcome to Let's Make Tracks. Today is the 4th of September, so I have all of 26 days left to complete this build. So, last night I did a bit of tinkering and got a little bit ahead of myself. I filmed some of it, didn't film the rest of it, but it's okay, we can fix this. So, as you can see here, this is the dry setup for where everything's going to go. I've included a blue line just here for the retaining wall, and in places I've also marked out where I'm going to drill holes for the lighting. Okay, so first things first. I had a conversation, let's backtrack a bit. Peachy released a video today about his build for this exact same competition. In it he mentioned two things that really made my ears pick up. One is he's adding vinyl to the sides of his entry to make it look pretty. Now he was very aware of the dimensions involved, so he's taken a sliver off the side so that when he adds his vinyl, which I think is a couple of millimeters give or take, it won't overreach the appropriate area and disqualify himself. And the second thing that was mentioned was someone mentioned to him that vehicles were not permitted on the entries. So I had I sent an email to Peco first, who responded extremely quickly, like minutes, and that then led to a phone conversation with this chap. And he clarified these 2 points for me. The exact measurements of this board, as is the exact measurements that they're going to permit. If you are going to add anything to the sides, it needs to be within this measurement, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but there'll be something along the bottom there. That is to the millimeter. You can't get away with an extra millimeter for the vinyl or anything. And he outright said that if Peachy had just straight up added it to the side, that would have been a no-go. So Peachy was correct in taking a millimeter off the edges. The vehicles. Vehicles are allowed. 100% they are allowed. But the prerequisite for the vehicles is they have to be permanently attached to the model. So an easy way to remember, if I were to take this finished, flip it upside down, anything that falls off, not allowed. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Turn upside down, anything falls off, not allowed. So if you glue, screw, whatever, if your vehicles are attached to the board, perfectly fine. And that's road vehicles, rolling stock, trains, if you're so inclined. Anything that will physically stay on the board is good. Anything you can take off, not allowed. And that is in the rules. If you can take it off, it's not allowed. So do with that information what you will. Now, back to business here. So, what I did last night, which I did film, so we're going to go back in time in just a minute. I'm going to show you exactly what I did, but this is now a solid piece. And same as this one, that is now a solid piece, which again makes it easier taking stuff on and off. So this is still loose, and the cattle dock hard standing is still loose. So this, I'll have to bring up a reference picture here. So you see in the picture, the cattle dock seems to be just slightly lower than the actual platform formation. So what I might do is one of two things. I can either make this piece lower by shaving a bit off the bottom, or I can put caulk under the platform pieces as well and bring them up the same as the track. And looking at other pictures from Dent Station, the ballast is very flat. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of what do you call it? Drop off. There's not much in the way of a drop off. I will have to double check, see what it's like on the sides of the track, on the up and down route. But as far as the middle goes down here, that seems very flat. So to save on ballast, that'll all be one solid piece. And depending on what happens with the good siding and the bit in between, I might have to cork that as well. So the grey area and the plain wood area may end up all getting a layer of cork. So that's that plan. So hopefully I'll get that done in this video. Also, been titivating with the Will's dressed stone wall kit SS36. So that is a 00 HO kit, but the measurements of 15mm are exactly what I needed to match up with this building here. So my reference images, I can't remember offhand which one exactly I looked at, but so this is what I did last night. So I managed to get a nice 90-degree angle on there, which as far as I can tell is still straight. It is. Excellent, and that sits exactly on the blue line, perfectly like that. So again, later in the video I will redo this corner over here to show you exactly what I've done here. So you're not missing out, don't worry. The bit you are unfortunately going to miss out on is this angled piece. So it's straight but also angled at the same time, and that's to go up the ramp. So obviously when you're building bricks and dressed stone and walls in general, you know, the layers are flat. So if I took one of these and just run it up the ramp like that, then the line of the bricks would be all wonky. I can either cut another angle again, which I'm not against, but I like the fact that I've got a nice flat edge there and can stand it up, and that will be perfectly where I want it to be. So instead of messing that up, what I am going to do is I'm going to cut this chunk, which you might be able to see it on the camera. I've marked it out in pencil where this line's going to be. Up to the join, I just remove that entire chunk and then slot that bit in there like that, and then that'll fit flush against the side, hopefully, but also sit flat on the board, so I have that angle that I'm looking for. Now, after I've done that, the interesting bit is going to be this bit here, which is a curve. So I'm going to have to think of a way, possibly heat, because these are, it's not very pliable at the moment because that one's been heavily glued, but they are usually quite flexible. So I'm hoping with a little bit of heat and the appropriate cylinder, which I may or may not have knocking around here, an appropriate angle, but just to get around this curve here, and then there'll be the end of the wall there, which should be a unique, interesting feature, but again, we'll see how it goes. That's either going to go very well or it'll be a complete disaster. I'm sure I've already said that. So that's the walls, the platforms, and then hopefully by the end of this video I'll get these blue blocks actually on the board. Whether or not they're moulded today is a different thing, but I'll definitely try and get at least the Minecraft look, if you know what Minecraft is. I only know because I've got teenagers now and they're obsessed. Flint and steel. Okay, so I've got plenty to be getting on with. So first we're going to go back in time, show the platforms, and then the walls, and then the landforms. Let's crack on, shall we?
Come all ye bold Britons and listen to me, and a comical ditty I'll sing unto thee, concerning a hero whose fame we all know, but there's something about him that none of us know. It's Trevithick, not Stevenson. Trevithick, not Stevenson. George Stevenson's rocket's well known, but he only improved it. It weren't on his own. 'Twas Trevithick invented the steam locomotive. The truth's finally been shown. Well, George Stephenson's rocket has made him quite famous, though it's said he invented the first steam train. But when George was inventing his train, I don't know, there was already trains running round all over Wales. It's Trevithick, not Stevenson. Trevithick, not Stevenson. George Stephenson's rocket's well known, but he only improved it. It weren't on his own. 'Twas Trevithick invented the steam locomotive. The truth's finally been shown. George Stephenson was for the first time successful with engines like Blucher. George finally impressed him, and the rocket he made with his son Robert too, it was clever. But this wasn't something that's new. It's Trevithick, not Stevenson. Trevithick, not Stevenson. George Stephenson's rocket's well known, but he only improved it. It weren't on his own. 'Twas Trevithick invented the steam locomotive. The truth's finally been shown. Williams Trevithick, Richard Trevithick, Trevithick, Richard Trevithick, Trevithick, Richard Trevithick, Trevithick, Richard Trevithick, Trevithick, Richard Trevithick. That was Trevithick. Dude, you ruined it.
So with the platforms, the first thing I need to do is get the correct angle on the, which platform is it? The up, or is it the down line? Basically the side with the station. So I'll score a line along here, and then in that score line I just fill it in with some back paint pen, just clean that up a bit, and give it a little sand just to take off the burrs. I'm probably just making myself more work here. I should have just used a pencil, but that does give me a nice line to cut along, because I'm going to have to use it for this. I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, so just a very quick rundown of how I stick the platforms together, because this is probably a bit boring. So I run some beads of glue around the surfaces where I believe the two station platform pieces are going to touch each other. Just give them a little rub together just to make sure all the glue is in the touching surfaces. Press them together, and I hold it very tightly against my set square, can't get the teeth in, and then while I'm holding that down very firmly, I just give it a little wiggle on the board just to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Platform, rinse and repeat, and we have all our sections.
You said my name, Peter. Are you ready for me now?
No thank you, Bob. Yes, just a turn of phrase. Your bit will be coming up a bit later.
Okay, no problem at all. I'll just be over here.
Now, the dry stone walls, I think, are quite self-explanatory. So what I am going to do, I'm going to show you how to do the corners first, and then the curve that I have to do at the other end. So I get the pieces I need, preferably measured out, but if not, I can do that later. Line it up on this piece of wood, which I'm using as a set square because my metal one doesn't have the chunky bits going down both axes. So I'll put a bit of glue along the seam first, overlapping. That's just to get it started. And then I'll take one of these pieces from the sprue, which are nice and flat, so I'll cut that to size, stick that in the corner like that to create a triangle or a bracing. I'm not sure if there's an engineering term for this. Bracing, triangle, I'm not sure. But it's just to add the strength that I'm about to remove. So this piece is the bit that goes in the corners. So I need to cut a 45-degree angle off the corner I just glued together, which kind of means the only bit, apart from the brace, the only bit holding these two bits together is a razor thin piece of plastic, if that. Now there probably is a better way of doing this because, well, fairly obvious.
Alright, we can fix this.
It's okay, fix it we shall. The plastic weld is very good at melting the plastic, and therefore it's an easy repair. It's just a pain in the backside. But prop everything up and leave it for an appropriate amount of time for everything to set, and we have ourselves the corner piece. Right, so for that corner at the end of the platform for the dry stone walling, I'm going to boil this piece of the kit. I honestly can't remember how long I left it boiling there for. I went off and had my dinner. But once it's soft enough, then what I do is I found this old peppercorn jar. You get them from most supermarkets, obviously, with the peppercorns inside. But anyway, it seemed like the right kind of cylinder I needed. So I got some cable ties and I persuaded the soft bit of plastic to wrap round, and with the cable tie just held it in place. I put it back in the water, soften it up again, and let it cool down in the correct position. You know, science, be an idea. Just before I decided to take all the cable ties off, I added another one. And what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to use this plastic weld. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to glue the cable ties directly to the back side of the kit section. Obviously being very careful not to get any of this stuff anywhere near the underside, because it might melt the bricks and make them flat against the jar. But now that's gone off, we're going to cut it, and I think that worked. So we have a rounded wall. The cable ties didn't stay on, but what happened was, with the pressure the cable ties were applying and the melting effect of the plastic weld, it's actually created little ribs on the back side of the wall, which helps retain the shape. So I'm going to call this one a success. So with the landforms, I got a little bit carried away and I ended up doing pretty much the entire hilly terrain in one set of videos. Far too many to include in this episode, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit them all together and make a very specific episode for building hills for next time, instead of adding it here because you've already been here long enough. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below if you like what you've seen so far, or you have any suggestion. Well, anything that's on your mind, as long as it's nice. Please. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Well, that's all for this episode of Let's Make Trucks. Peter will be back soon with his next video in the Peco Rail 200 diorama series. If you want to see more videos about modern railways, take a look at this video up here. Or, if you like the music that was playing during this video, please look at the card down here. And we will see you again very soon. Goodbye.
I will be doing a proper review on the... It's okay. We're okay. We're good. We're good. That was really fucking stupid.